Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Tommy Atomic Rodriguez, your friendly neighborhood hookahologist. How's everyone doing today? So, what do I have? I have 5 items that I believe are essential to have while smoking hookah. I'm going to explain each one of their functions from left to right here. So, let's kind of just dive in. Right here, your first item that is pretty standard to have and you can get with any hookah when you buy it, especially if you get it from like a smoke shop or something, or you get your first Kalia Mamoon hookah or a Mia hookah, they come with a pair of tongs. Now, tongs are very important. You can't grab hookah coals with your hands, and if you do, you're crazy because you're going to burn yourself. Tongs are the easiest things to buy, and they're for the most part, very inexpensive. Now, as you can see, I have a group of tongs, a pot of tongs, a gaggle of tongs, if you will. So let's kind of just grab a few. I have these social smoke tongs. I used to love these when I was working at a hookah lounge because I can just, I don't know if there's hair on it, but I can go like this. Play the spoons, right? So those are kind of fun. Like I said, you have the basic tongs here. My favorite pair of tongs to use right now, and pretty much always, are the Alfalfa tongs. Now I got these at the Hookah Expo in 2018, I believe, and I thought these were kind of cool. I got 2 pairs. I had like at least 2 or 3 pairs, but I gave 2 away, so I have these ones left, and these are actually really good grip form, so you can just grab your hookah, grab your tongs, and kind of play around with the hookah, right? Now, these are the most expensive ones that I've actually bought. They're called the blade tongs. Now, these ones are very heavy, very easy to use, and it looks like a fucking blade. So tongs are a very important thing to have while smoking. So tongs kind of make a difference for me a little bit because I don't like, especially when I was working at a hookah lounge, I didn't like having coals fall out of my bucket or fall out and burn the customer. So having a good pair of tongs is a good way to kind of have control. The next item on our list is very inexpensive as well, and there's very different variations of it. Now, for a hookah, you have to pack the shisha in a bowl, right? And most people actually use foil. I use foil a good amount of the time, although I do have an HMD, which we'll get to in a little bit. But you need to poke the holes for the foil, right? So air can actually get in from the coals. So how do you do that? Most people, and like I said, when I was working at a hookah lounge, we had a group of toothpicks that we used, and the toothpicks only last so long, and then you have to grab more toothpicks, and it's just another thing to kind of inconvenience yourself, right? So there's a lot of different ways I've packed bowls with various different objects: toothpicks, pins, push pins, safety pins, so on and so forth. But a very good investment is a foil poker. Now I don't remember the name of this one, but it's actually really cool because it's flexible. I've had at least 4 foil pokers in my lifetime. This is my 4th and probably the last one I'm going to buy. I used to have the Mob Bullet where you unscrew and kind of poke. There was a alfalfa comma fork and foil poker combination that I had once, and I can't find it anymore. I don't know what happened to it. But this makes poking holes a lot easier. It always has a fine point where it makes it easier to kind of poke the holes in. That way you can always use it. Now this is a very good tool to have because, like I said, you can use a toothpick or you can use a pen, but the holes come kind of inconsistent depending on what you use. This makes it very easy to kind of poke holes and make it very easy to kind of smoke bowl, right? The next item on our list is very interesting to use and very easy and inexpensive and kind of easy to find, really. Now, most people used to use their hands to kind of sprinkle it in, like the Salt Bay, right, and just kind of throw it in there. Now, what I've been using for over a year now is an Oyster fork. Now, an Oyster fork is just an easier way to kind of scoop it up and pack your bowls, right? It makes it very easy, very non-messy kind of situation where you can just pack a bowl and kind of move the shisha around and dense pack, fluff pack everywhere and in between, right? Now, one thing I always recommend, you could use the foil to pack your bowls, right? That's perfectly fine. But there's something called an HMD, and we recently reviewed an HMD that I have personally, and like I said, there's plenty on the market, but I have the Phoenix HMD, which is actually a super cool thing to have, and I think it's very important while you're smoking hookah. If you're very new to it, maybe an HMD is something you shouldn't go out and get right away because they are a little expensive. But if you are a veteran smoker and you've been smoking for a while, this is something that you should really invest in. Because what the HMD does, it is a piece of metal really that heats the coals right here. That way you don't have to use extra foil. And if you don't want to spend like another $5 on heavy duty foil every once in a while, this is something that's going to make your job a lot easier, because you can just place it on the hookah as so, and it will heat up the sisha. I mean, cleanup is a little bit of a hassle sometimes, but hey, anything worth having is worth doing a little bit more. So the HMDs work really well. Now, I think this last item is probably the most important to have while smoking hookah, especially if you have multiple hookahs and you have people over and you don't want to just keep carrying the coals and risk burning the carpet, burning the floor, or burning yourself. A coal bucket. A coal bucket is just a handled like bucket with a metal bucket right here to kind of carry the coals around, and it made my life so much easier once I've had it. Because I used to live in a 2-story building, so I would have to walk the hookah when it's done up there, and then have to wait for the coals to burn, and I'd have to carry everything over very carefully so I didn't burn the carpet, right? But the cool thing about this coal bucket, I was able to take my hookah back, let the coals burn, go back down, and pick them up. And you can put the coals away with it, right? These coals are kind of done, so I'm probably going to get a little bit more, but you can just grab it, put it in there, right? Which is super convenient and super easy to use, which is my favorite item that I've ever gotten from my ex-girlfriend. So she got this for me on Valentine's Day. Crazy story, she went all over the countryside almost to go find one. It's the thought that counts, and I was really, really grateful to have this. This one is a Mia, made in China. I'm just reading the top right here, but it is actually such an easy thing to use, and like I said, when we do cinema smokography or have people over, I have to constantly get coals. So having this coal bucket is actually a very nice thing to have and make my job so much easier. So I'm not burning nothing, I just got to swing them every once in a while to kind of get them a little bit more heated if they're not fully, cooked. Guys, these are some of the items that you should be having or investing in if you're going to be smoking. So that's all I really have for you guys this video. If there's other items you think I should have in my collection for smoking hookah to make things easier, leave it in the comment section below. To find me on Instagram and or Twitter, you're good to look under the _hookahologist. To find this beautiful face on Facebook, you're good to look under Tommy Rodriguez. And to follow us on Facebook as well under the Hookahhologist for more videos, podcasts, Instagram posts, discussions if I ever get around to them. But until next time, guys, keep smoking.